You are now listening to BKO Ministries. Sit back, turn the volume up. It's time for another episode of Dollar Dozen Nuggets from Pastor Brian. If you want to hear the whole sermon, go to m3dots.com and look for the picture of Pastor Brian O'Neill. Without any further delay, here's Pastor Brian.
It has to be explained this way. And if you begin to question the person along this line of questioning, you'll find out why that person is taking that medicine. You'll find out why they won't relinquish the things that they can see and feel and touch and you know, the people and all these different things that you can hold on to instead of trusting God. When you begin to ask the right questions, the person will tell you why I can't stop taking this medicine, why I won't stop going, you know, to all these different doctors and relying on men to deliver me. Just ask the right questions. Do you believe that God is able to heal? Do you believe, you know, it's what you believe about God. What has God done for you lately? And then you began to see how close that person is to God. That's where it all begins, because it's with relationship with him. Faith is a derivative of what God has done for you already. That's all faith is. Faith is not something that's out there floating around that somebody can help you get. All you have to do is look back at your life and see where you've come from. What I'm talking about, documenting things that God has done for you, that you know it was God. You look at all of those incidents up to this point and you say, man, I remember what it was like when I was in that situation. And you got to do this. You got to just sit down and think about it for a minute. Think about what God has done and how he worked it out in a way that you never thought possible. I mean, when you were in the situation, you were ready to kill yourself. Just think about it for a minute. You thought there was no way out. You were ready to smoke yourself. And he delivered you. And you were praising God and thanking God, and then something else happened. And he delivered you out of that. You was ready to kill yourself again. Then another situation came, and you were ready to kill yourself again. Then another situation came. You were ready to kill yourself again. And all the time he brought you out. Those are the situations that you've got to look at. Document them, experience or even relive everything that you lived at that point. That is what will build your faith to deal with anything that you're dealing with now. That's where you get it all from. I wasn't doing all that I should have been doing, and God came in and rescued me. He rescued me then. He can rescue me now. I'm not where I was then, and it's not by your righteousness anyway. It ain't by that he's helping you. It ain't because of you, how good you are that he's taking care of you. It's because he loves you. And that is without merit. So look at all those different things and let that encourage. That is where our confidence comes from. I am confident of this thing. He is going to take care of me. He's going to take care of me. I'm going to get you, Carl. I'll see you over there. That's about the best thing you can do. Mm-hmm. 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 Yes. He has organized it and orchestrated it, that this is his system of showing you what he can do. This is his way of doing it. You got to be in something tough so he can come flying in and rescue you. You've got to be in a bad place. You've got to be in an impossible situation so that you can realize while you're there that there's, first of all, nothing you can do for yourself, nothing anybody else can do to save you. All your hope is gone. No help coming from anywhere. There's nothing anybody can do. Then he comes in. And when he swoops in and picks you up off of that railroad track, train is inches away from you, you can't glory in nobody else but him. He loves situations like that. He loves it. You say, well, that sounds kind of, does he really have to torment me like that? Does he have to torture me this way? Can't he prove himself some other way? Can't he prove how strong he is without letting me suffer the way I'm suffering? There's too much benefit for you not to suffer. There's too much benefit in suffering. There's too much to learn from your pain. There's too much. The most valuable lessons we've learned because we've gone through something. That's where we learn what life is all about. Quiet as it's kept. We really don't want to admit that, but it's true. We didn't learn how to manage our money until we was broke. That's the way it is. And that's what he enjoys doing, because he'll sit right there with you while you counting them pennies. And he'll help you. He'll tell you where to put this, where to put that, how to divide this, how to spend that. And all the time he's right there with you, showing you what to do. All so that he can get the glory. It's all about relationship with him. Everything that we go through is about relationship with him. Everything. And that's why he says, in the midst of whatever you're going through, count it all joy. Count it all joy, because this is a building process. When you come out of this thing, you're going to be stronger. That's why we count it all joy. And again, it goes back to the illustration that we use. If you're training your body, if you're getting your body conditioned, it's painful, y'all. It's painful to run on that treadmill. You said it for a length of time that it's uncomfortable to run that thing, run in place, for half an hour on a treadmill. Then get off of that and get on a bike. And then get off of that and go to the weights. Your body is you ever want to hear whether or not you have another voice inside your head? Tell your body to do something like that. We're going to get on this treadmill, then we're going to get on this bike. You'll hear this voice in your head calling you all kinds of names. Calling you all kinds of things. Telling you to quit, telling you to stop, telling you a fool, you tired, quit. I'm sick of this. Are you crazy? You want to hear a voice talk? Fast. Tell your body you ain't going to feed it. Your body will go crazy. Temperatures will start rising. All kinds of stuff will happen. Your body will go into a state of rebellion. Then you'll find out that this battle is real. This is a very real battle, and we don't have time to forsake the word of God to do what we want to do, or let our bodies dictate what they want to do. This is all faith. This is all faith, confidence in God. That's it.
You have to cut them off. That's why you have to build your faith on confidence in God. When Jesus told his disciples that he was going to leave here, he can't stay. So he had to straighten him out. He had to leave to get strong.
Mm-hmm.
To leave here and have the glory.
I'm telling you, faithless folks will sap you dry. They will challenge the very things that you believe and pull all your joy out. It's only the word going in us that's what keeps us encouraged. That's what keeps us with hope. And hopeless, faithless people will drag it all out of you. That's why Jesus, a lot of times, like Carl said, had to pull himself away, go into that quiet place and rebuild himself with that word. You got to strengthen you. Like Pastor Darrell says all the time, people that don't talk to themselves, I can imagine what kind of condition you're in. You don't remind yourself of what God said about you. You don't remind yourself of who you are and what you can do. You've got to. You've got to take that word. Let me show you why. In verse number 15, it says, then after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. After desire has conceived, we're pulled away of our own lusts. The things that are on the inside of us is what the enemy comes. And so if you ever want to identify what your stronghold is or what's going on in your life, and just identify what the enemy is always saying to you, what he's always trying to get you to do, what he's always trying to get you to say. If you're a hateful person, if you're evil and you got an attitude problem, he's always working in that area of your life. If you get angry fast, he's always working in that area of your life. If you get offended fast, he's always working in that area of your life, trying to keep you offended, and he does it this way. The enemy comes, and this is the whole plan, because you must understand we're all believers. We all love God. We're all trying to do what God wants us to do. We're all blessed people. I want to say that. I want to say that to you right now. You are blessed people. And you're blessed because God says you're blessed. You're blessed already. It ain't nothing that God has to do. You're already blessed. And see, if you don't know that, then, well, that explains some of the situations that we find ourselves in. We are a blessed people. And Satan just can't do to us what he wants to do to us. He can't, because we're blessed. God says we're blessed. And because of that, he comes and he says, yeah, I know y'all blessed, and I know I can't do very much to you, but I'm going to pull you out of that place of blessing so that God himself will judge you. I don't have to do it. I'm just going to pull you out by your own lusts, by your own desires. So when he comes to you, he begins to say things to you. He begins to test you or tempt you with evil. He does that by saying things. Say words. He says things. And when he begins to say things to your mind, we conceive them or receive them. The act of intimacy that brings forth children is a woman receiving a man. The act of us falling into sin and bringing forth that baby called death is when we receive the words of the enemy. You know you don't like her. She get on your nerve, don't you? See, look at them. Look how they doing that. They don't know what they doing. They always doing. These are words, but words are very powerful. And when we receive them as a woman would receive a man, we then conceive those words or seeds down into our spirit, and they become living.
Thank you for listening. And as I said earlier, go to m3dots.com to listen to the whole sermon. Just look for the picture of Pastor Brian O'Neill. Oh, by the way, you can always join us for service 19600 Glenbard Road in Chicago Heights, Illinois. Go to m3dots.com and sync your schedule. I'm your host, Matty Lipsis, and I hope one day to meet you in person. Until then, let the Lord use you.